It's another edition of Social Distancing at the Chamber, also known as Happy Hour with Hammer. My name is Garrick Taylor, as always, joined by the CEO of the Arizona Chamber, Glenn Hammer. Glenn, one of the issues we focus on at the Chamber is manufacturing. So tonight we're going to talk about manufacturing at a large and small scale, but a very important scale. So, Glenn, why don't you introduce our two special guests tonight?
Well, I'd like to say that the show that we put together, Garrick, is a family show. And tonight's episode is going to prove that.
Right.
We're very lucky to have Allison Gilbreath, who runs our manufacturing arm and is the inspiration between our Made in Arizona effort, which was wildly successful this past year in exposing a lot of legislators to all the good stuff that manufacturers are making around Arizona. Well, that brings us to Allison's mom, Liz Grigg, who manufactures masks. Liz and Allison, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Thanks for having me.
Allison and Liz, fasten your seatbelts. Glenn's about to throw some fastball questions at you here, so get ready.
Well,
all right, we're ready.
I'm ready.
All right. Okay. So we're ready to roll. We're obviously in a global pandemic right now, and one of the big things that we've stressed on the chamber side, on the business side, is that there's a lot that we could do to reduce the spread and keep each other safe. And we all know we need to wash our hands. We all know we need to use hand sanitizer. We all know about social distancing. Well, we can't always stay 6 feet apart. And that's where masks come in. And that's where Liz comes in. And Allison, maybe you could just, before we started shooting the show, you were getting into a little bit of how this all came about in terms of your mom making not just masks that are extremely important and functional, but if I may say, stylish.
Yeah, so mom has been a big quilter for many years. She's made handmade, hand-pieced, I don't know how many quilts, gorgeous quilts that I have in my home. And when this whole thing came about, I said, hey, Mom, would you be willing to make a few masks? I don't know, one or two. And so that turned into, hey, Mom, would you be willing to make 130 masks for the entire Arizona legislature and the entire Arizona delegation in DC? And so Mom graciously agreed to do that. American Airlines was the company, Joe Hughes and Jack McCain. They were actually the ones that funded the project, and Mom made the masks at cost. So we just paid her for the materials, and she whipped them right out as soon as she could get the materials, which was a little bit of a struggle. But thank you, Mother. I actually saw Congresswoman Debbie Lesko wearing your mask today in DC. So we have a nice picture of her. And just big kudos to you. Thank you so much for your help.
You're welcome. I enjoyed doing it. It was a bit of a challenge because I didn't know how to make masks, so I had to figure that out. So I got some grid paper and drew my plan, and then made a template and started sewing. I have a newfound respect for those ladies in Sri Lanka and Bangladesh who make clothes that a lot of us wear.
Yeah.
It's tedious, but
yeah.
It was fun, and I enjoyed doing it. And it gave me an opportunity to do something sort of useful anyway. Since I can't go to the Diamondbacks games now, it gave me a lot more time to do it. But I enjoyed it. Thank you for asking me.
Well, Liz, I had no idea that I would have assumed just wearing these, and they're not just extremely stylish, they're very comfortable. They fit perfectly. I would have assumed you'd made masks in some other capacity. I had no idea that this was sort of a post-coronavirus type activity.
No, this was completely new. I had no idea. So I just drew a pattern on some grid paper. I design quilts, so I use a lot of grid paper. I'm a big consumer of grid paper. But I just drew the design and made myself a template. And it took forever to get the fabric, though. I had to special order the fabric. But when I finally did, then all I had to do was draw them and cut them out and sew them together.
Well, and I can't recall, and we've all lost sense of time and all that kind of stuff. But I know that through your association with the Diamondbacks, am I imagining that you first made a mask with the Diamondbacks logo on it?
I did, but that's after Allison asked me to make these masks.
Guilty.
That was my first
Okay.
attempt.
Wow.
When she asked if I could make masks, that's when I drew it out and made one out of Diamondbacks material that I already had. So, and I wear that a lot. I've been wearing a state mask lately, but I started out with my D-backs mask.
No, I know.
Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, please.
I looked on the D-backs website, and they're actually selling masks with the D-backs logos. They have several designs, and they're like $16 to $24 each.
Wow. You got to up the price, Mama.
Yeah, we may be in trouble here. We've been very lucky. But what I love about this story is that it's just a great example of a great American saying, okay, we have a situation where we need some help, and masks are, in my opinion, clearly part of the solution. At least that's what the CDC says, and they know a lot more about health than I do. And here you are, Liz, with the inspiration and guidance of your daughter, making masks that could help keep us all safe.
I agree. I think masks are the thing, and I wish everybody would wear a mask. I've been looking at the demographics of the coronavirus, and most of the deaths are people 65 and older, and that's me. I'm 72, so I'm well within that category, and I wish everybody around me would wear masks. I went into a Subway the other day, and nobody in there was wearing a mask. And I thought, good grief, you need to be looking after your customers. So maybe I shouldn't criticize Subway for that. I love Subway, but
no, well,
they should be wearing a mask.
Well, we've been, as I've been getting out there more often, I'm just, at a press coffee, the people there, the employees of press are wearing masks. A lot of the restaurants that have opened, I had a great chicken noodle soup at Chompy's, as a Jewish guy from New York City, I can't, or at least born in New York City, can't resist. It was, everyone there was wearing masks. So, employers are playing, to me, in a lot of cases, a number of employers, particularly for larger retail stores, are now urging to requiring masks. So, and in fact, before we just started the show, I noted that Maricopa County just held a press conference, and I believe that they're requiring their employees, when they can't socially distance, to wear masks. So, we're at the point where we're all looking at different ways we could reduce the spread, so we could continue to safely open the economy and make sure that you, Liz, are safe as well.
Well, most of the retail stores, I haven't been in many retail stores since this started, but the ones that I have been in, the employees were all wearing masks. And I felt good about it. We went in Fry's the other day, and all the employees and most of the customers were wearing masks. So I think it's important. The mask that I wear doesn't necessarily protect me, but the mask you wear protects me. So,
That's a great point.
And I wear a mask to protect other people, and I wish other people would wear one to protect me. So,
yeah. Garrick,
all right,
fire away.
Liz, let's go back to the beginning. country music fans know about the tradition of Tennessee Handicraft by listening to Dolly Parton's Coat of Many Colors. You're familiar with that, right, Liz?
Yes, yes.
Of course. I don't have to tell you that. Are you self-taught, or were you somebody in the family tree teach you?
I'm self-taught. However, my mother did teach me to sew, but quilting, I'm totally self-taught. I just figured that out myself. I like to hand quilt. I like to design the quilt, piece them, and hand sew them and hand quilt them. And my mother didn't do that, but my mother did sew. So she taught me how to use a sewing machine. And when I was a little girl, she and I together made some clothes for me. You know, the whole coordinated thing. In fact, I made a couple things for Allison when she was little too.
I've got some Liz Grigg clothes.
Good.
That is.
When Allison was little, I liked to have her all coordinated. So, you know, the little outfit, the shoe bows and the hair bows and everything to match.
Well, you know, this show could go in a lot of different directions at this point. That's for sure. But I don't want to get into big trouble with your daughter. So I'll stick.
Thank you.
Allison, at the start of the pandemic, though, in all seriousness, you were hearing from manufacturers all across the state about the need to find PPE, and you were taking calls and emails round the clock.
Yeah, we're still getting calls and emails around the clock. Some of the needs have changed a little bit. I feel like the masks are getting produced. Some of the gowns and other equipment, we're still lacking. You know, and some of the sanitizers, those items are still in short supply. But yeah, I mean, just the needs are changing, and it's just been so interesting to watch, you know, as we go along, what the shortages are. You know, and Mom, you're just one person, so you know, thank you for doing all that you've been doing. I mean, it really means a lot to me personally. I know it means a lot to the chamber. So thank you. I mean, it could honestly be a grassroots effort where, you know, maybe you could go get your neighbors to make some masks. I don't know, but you know, it could be something that really turns into, you know, a good story in the end.
Love it. Love it. Well, Liz, we want to thank you for all you're doing. Now, as Allison mentioned, your masks are now being worn by the Arizona congressional delegation. So, Glenn, many moons ago, you worked on Capitol Hill for a couple of Arizona members. Are you ready for some Tennessee, Arizona trivia, Glenn?
Let's go. I'm ready to go.
Which member from Tennessee was your across the hall neighbor when you worked in the House of Representatives? Think, Glenn, think.
What across the hall, and Garrick was there as well.
Yes.
Was it Zach Wamp?
It was not Zach Wamp. We're going to give you another shot.
By the way, Mom's going to know all these trivia questions. Mom is an expert trivia person.
No, I don't. No.
In the mid-1990s, Glenn, your across-the-hall neighbor was Tennessee Congressman Van Hillary.
You're killing me. You're killing me. I can't believe I missed that. God.
Yeah. There's Glenn's Arizona, Tennessee connection, folks. He used to be across the hall from a Tennessee congressman.
Well, Garrick is just flaunting, and Allison could confirm this. No one beats Garrick in trivia, so
that's true.
Wow.
But if I had another minute, I think I might have gotten it. But you're right; it was Van Hillary. How about that?
Yeah. But Glenn, you came up with some great Tennesseans. Dr. Frist, Fred Thompson. You were around for the good ones.
Always appreciated both of them. Tennessee is a great state, so we want as many people with Tennessee roots in Arizona as possible. You make us better. So, you know, Liz, we just really appreciate what we've done. It's an inspiration to all of us, and it's made a real difference, and we're going to continue to keep safe while we're promoting the state of Arizona. And I'll just tell you that the social media posts that I have of wearing this mask are easily my most popular. And as Allison knows, no joke. A number of people have asked, where can we get these masks? So we're going to request, and we're all capitalists at the chamber, that we hope that you'll continue to make the masks, and we will gladly compensate you for them as we proudly distribute them to fellow Arizonans. And I just want to thank you and Allison for just putting a lot of love into what you do to do something that's really important for our state.
I'm happy to make them, as long as I can get the fabric. Maybe I should join the chamber.
Well, there you go.
Liz, we're gonna sign you up. Thank you very much for what you do, and thank you for being on our show.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right, that's another edition in the books. Thanks, Allison. Thanks, Liz. Glenn, we will catch you on the next one.
Thank you, Garrick.